Hey guys, this is Anita. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my August wrap up. I had an amazing reading month in August. I read 6 books, actually 6 books plus one short story, total 7. If you look at the number of books I read, it's same as generally what I read, but the time I spent on reading in August is very less, especially last 15 days. I could read only a couple of hours before sleeping, but because of having less time, I was able to focus better and could finish 6 books. I enjoyed all of them except one book. I had 1 2-star, 2 4 stars, 3 4.5 stars and 1 5 star. The first book I want to talk about is Ship of Destiny by Robin Hobb. This is the third and final book in Life Ship Traders trilogy. I have been enjoying my experience with Realm of Elderlings, but I gave this book only 2 stars. Book 2 of this trilogy, Mad Ship, was one of my favorite books I read this year, but Ship of Destiny did not work for me. I did not like Hobb's narrative choices in this book, and I did not like one character's path. There are few things I liked, especially the intrigue in Bingtown. That is my favorite part to read. And there are a couple of character developments I really liked. I don't want to get into details of what I did not like because that involves a lot of spoilers for the entire trilogy. I already talked about it in my review. I'll link that in the cards. Please check that if you are interested. We also had a live show discussion for this with Evie from She Was Only Evie and Pete from Bondings of Pete. Derry also joined us at the end. We discussed extensively about all the characters involved. It was a fantastic discussion. We all had different opinions about different characters. I'll also link that in the cards above. Please check that. Next book I want to talk about is The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie. This is book 1 from First World trilogy. So the focus went into world building and introduction to characters. I am a character driven reader, so I have no issues with that. There are some criticisms that it lacks plot. I don't completely agree with that. The focus is not on plot, but things happen in the background. This book mainly set in the city called Adva, the capital city of the Union. Their king is either sick or useless, so the entire governance depend on this council who are too busy with power struggle. Now there is war from north and there is danger from south. It was definitely frustrating to see that none of them cared about it, or at least we don't see them caring about it or taking action, but it looked like things are happening in the background. The focus is entirely on characters, who they are and where they are from. Logan is definitely my favorite character out of all of them, especially in the beginning. Later the focus shifted to Zezal. He is Brackley and Wayne. I did not care about them, but his suffering in his training scenes are funny. Glocta is one of the most complicated characters I read. Everyone talked about how much they love Glocta, so first couple of scenes gave me a shock, but I like the dry humor in his POV. Disappointing characters for me are definitely female characters. I liked Ardy when she was introduced. Her character has a lot of potential, but I don't like the way her arc ended. I really did not expect that to happen to her. I really did not expect that from her abuser. I thought that person is the one character which is good, one character who cared about war. I guess this is what all morally grey characters mean. I think there is always a negative shade to them. Ferro is the most intriguing character for me. In this book, her character is one-dimensional, but I hope she'll have character development in next books. There is a lot of potential. I hope she'll get her own story other than being pawn in others' quests. The best thing in this book for me is definitely Abercrombie's writing. There are many places I chuckled and I like the quotes he used. He used the same quotes in both Logan's and Glocta's POV. Initially, I thought there was some significance to that, but I guess he's just being consistent. Overall, I enjoyed this book. I gave it 4 stars. Pacing was little off sometimes, but that's alright. One thing that bothered me in this book was the lack of map. There is a lot of traveling involved. A lot of places were mentioned, cities being attacked or as part of characters' backstories. I kept looking for map only to realize that it wasn't there. It was frustrating. I love maps. I like tracking cities in maps. Some books don't need them, but this book definitely needed. Hope map is included in the next book. The next book I want to talk about is The Terms of Patron by Ursula K. Le Guin. This is book 2 in Etsy Cycle series. Le Guin's writing in this book is just fantastic. We mainly follow a little girl called Tenar who is chosen as a high priestess. She's considered a reborn as that little girl. So she is the head priestess of the Terms. She explores Terms to learn its secret paths. I am claustrophobic and I don't like isolation, so the beginning part of this book I really struggled with. But that also shows how good Legwin is with her writing. The setting is so atmospheric. One day a person enters the tomb to steal an artifact, but Tena catches that person and learns about outside world from him. I love the way Legwin connected first book's arc with this book, and she did a fantastic job in exploring freedom and human will in this book. This book is less than 200 pages, but Legwin did an incredible job with Tena being a high priestess and a little girl. We can clearly differentiate that in her. I gave this book 4.5 stars only because it took me some time to get into the story, but I cannot stop thinking about it. I'll not be surprised if this book makes my list of favorite books of this year. And the next book I want to talk about is Price of Valor by Django Wexler, book 3 from Shadow Campaigns. Wexler continued to write amazing characters, including secondary characters. This book has amazing set of secondary characters. It's difficult to get into details because this is third book in the series. If I mention the character names, it will spoil that they survive the second book, so I'll keep it short. Wexler added humor in one of the characters' POVs in this book. That is something new. I don't remember humor being there in first two books. I really had fun reading those scenes. And there is a conflict between two of the main characters, which is very realistic. Warden has women in their army in one of their battalions. Not everyone accepts that. They face some struggles. Some leadership don't respect them and don't send help when this battalion's commander asks. And some of the men in the army try to misbehave. Wexler handled these scenes very well. And I really like the way Wexler showed why representation matters. When this army takes over a city, some of the women from the city gets inspired and asked to join the army. All these small things made this book incredible. I gave this book 4.5 stars. Next book I want to talk about is Warmaster's Gate by Adrian Tchaikovsky. This is book 9 from Shadows of the App series, and this is just brilliant. Tchaikovsky did an amazing job with two parallel arcs in this book. Kinden or races in this series can be classified as apt Kinden and inapt Kinden. Kinden who are technologically advanced, basically who can operate engines, are all apt Kinden. Beetles, ants, wasps come under this category. Kinden who doesn't understand technology, who believes in magic, are called inapt Kinden. Mantis, spiders, flies come under this category. Tchaikovsky executed both the storylines perfect in this book. Wasp Empire is attacking lowlands with full force. There are battles going on in two separate places. At the same time, some of our characters enters an old forest, exploring its secrets, searching for an old power. It ended with a banger. Stakes got way higher. I can't wait to read the final book in the series. I gave this book 4.5 stars. I don't remember why I did not give this book 5 stars. Maybe because of the violence. It's just brilliant. At the end of this book, there is a short story called Heart of the Green. It's just around 50 pages. In Warmaster's Gate, it was mentioned that one of the Wasp's airship was lost in the forest and only one person survived. The story is about that incident, who were there on that ship and what happened to them in the forest, and how that one person surviving is directly connected to the plot of Warmaster's Gate. It's just something extra if you are interested in the background of why these characters entered the forest. I gave that 4 stars. The next book I want to talk about is Razer Blade Tears by S.A. Cosby. This is one of my favorite books I read this year and is definitely going to make my top 10 books I read this year. This follows 2 men, one black man and one white man. Their sons are gay and married to each other. Both of them did not accept their son's sexuality and did not have good relationship with them. One day they receive news that both of their sons were brutally murdered. They decide to track down those killers and take revenge. Though the premise indicates a thriller and a revenge drama, the focus is about how these 2 men confronted their prejudices and realized what they missed with their sons. It was very well written. I gave this book 5 stars. I had a separate review of this book in my channel, which is completely spoiler free. Please check that out and please read this book. That's all I read in August. Please let me know in comments what is your favorite book you read in August. Please like, comment and subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye bye.